The ocean covers most of the planet. How deep is it? Let's descend in my bathyscaphe. We'll start at sea level. Below the waves is the euphotic zone. It's called the daylight zone due to sunlight. This means lots of greenery. At 40 meters deep, huge algae forests appear. Thickets, algae, and kelp provide food and shelter. They also provide 70% of Earth's oxygen. Descending 6 meters deeper, we reach coral. They resemble stony plants, but are animals. They are close relatives of jellyfish. 500 billion corals create vibrant reefs. These reefs are home to shallow water fish. Clownfish and butterfly fish live there. Shallow water can be dangerous. Birds, seals, and polar bears can reach it. Many fish swim there only to eat. Then they swim deeper. Tuna, mackerel, and mackerel spend a lot of time here. These are the fish we usually eat. At 60 meters live crabids, it's the perfect depth to be caught. Humans, halibut, octopuses, and sea otters catch them. No wonder they are so delicious. At 80 mem, there are velvet swimming crabs. These crustaceans wave their limbs to swim. Despite their mobility, they stay close to home. At 90 meters, the Britannic wreckage lies. It is the Titanic's sister ship. It sank 6 kilometers from Key Island in 1916. This was 3 years after the Titanic. It runs in the family. The Britannic is better preserved. The 53 200-ton ship has lasted over 100 years. The depth is not great with scuba gear. Many sunken ships remain in the euphotic zone. They often run aground on rocks or sit in shallow water. At 140 meters is the average depth of sea lion dives. They can descend to 270 meters. This average depth is as high as the Great Pyramids. 150 meters is the favorite area of green sea turtles. These reptiles live in the lower euphotic zone. Neighbors, they can dive deeper if they want to. Then, they encounter beltfish. They live at 180 meters. They have long, flat-bodied snakes. They can grow to impressive sizes. The longest was 11 meters long. Large animals, they eat krill and plankton. At their depth, there is room for a space needle. Further on, even more unusual creatures await. We are diving into the mesopelagic or twilight zone. This area extends from 200 meters to 1 kilometer deep. It is called the twilight zone. The water transitions from light to dim. It becomes darker as you descend. The mesopelagic zone is also the busiest area. Almost 90% of marine life lives there by weight. One main inhabitant is the great white shark. They hunt at 200 meters. They reach speeds of up to 40 kilometer range. They smell blood from 5 kilometers away. They can dive to over 6 kilometers. Deeper is not safer. At 253 meters is the deepest point for freedivers. Herbert Nade got there without oxygen tanks. He used a torpedo device to submerge. It gave him time to rise. He held his breath at 25 atmospheres. This affects the lungs, eardrums, and sinuses. 300 meters is the maximum diving depth for dolphins. Other cetaceans descend much deeper. At 332 meters, we reach the maximum point a diver can descend. It is more than the Eiffel Tower's height. Ahmed Gabr achieved this in 2014. A team of divers assisted him. They replenished oxygen every few hundred meters. Gabr could not carry the tanks needed alone. Another milestone is 400 meters. This is the depth of the first bathysphere. It was created in 1930. It was a hollow sphere weighing 2 tons. It had a 2 diameter. Cables on a ship lowered it. Zoologist William Beatty and engineer Otis Barton developed it. It was uncomfortable. Yet they descended deeper than anyone before. At 443 meters, you could fit the Empire State Building. At this level, light scatters. Water molecules absorb it. It gets darker and darker. Local inhabitants have large eyes. Big-eyed tuna have large eyes. The eyes take in scattered light. At 565 m, we encounter emperor penguins. They descend there for fish. In the water, they are graceful. They reach speeds of up to 14 km/h. This is 5 times faster than on land. They dive deeper and faster. They descend deeper than any New York building's height. 600 Mailer is the area where moonfish live. They grow up to 3 m long. They can be 4 in height from fin to fin. They weigh 2 tons. They do not have an air bladder. Many fish use the air bladder to rise. The moonfish's poor maneuverability is questioned. Marine biologists question their evolution. They are strange fish. If you fear spiders or crabs, look away. At 610 mel live spider crabs. They are terrifying. Their shell is only 30 centimeters. The total span of their legs can reach 4 Mailer. They withstand 61 atmospheres. It is equal to 115 elephants standing on them. Their organs are protected by a strong shell. Inside, there are almost no air cavities. Compared to smaller relatives, these crabs are frightening. At 660 m, we will see slugs. Don't worry, sea slugs are beautiful. They have different striking colors and patterns. It is believed nudibranchs became eye-catching for protection. At such depths, brightness is frightening. Predators think they are dangerous. If something is not trying to hide, it is dangerous. 900 malers is the lower limit for anglerfish. These predators lie motionless. They wait for prey. Prey is attracted by their hanging antennae. The stomachs of these monsters contain ducks and sea eels. They are incredibly voracious. Despite their ugly appearance, their meat is sweet and firm. People eat them in Europe and Asia. We are now at a greater depth than the Burj Khalifa. It is the world's tallest building, yet we are still far from the bottom. Pause and write in the comments when we will reach the average depth. The answer may surprise you. At about a kilometer deep, giant squids swim. They can weigh 540 kilos. The largest specimen was 14 men long. Even today, they have hardly been seen alive. Most knowledge is based on autopsies. Colossal squids are an example of deep-sea gigantism. This is when invertebrates become larger the deeper they live. Why this happens is unclear. Scientists suggest it's due to low temperature. It rarely rises above 16 degrees. Metabolism slows down. Creatures live longer and grow larger. Humboldt squids live 300 meters higher. They are only 1.5 meters long. Squids near the surface are only 30 centimeters long. Now we are entering the bathypelagic zone or midnight zone. Sunlight hardly penetrates here. The depth is about 4 kilometers. Many inhabitants survive with bioluminescence. They produce their own light. For example, the deep-sea anglerfish. They live at 1050 meters. They use a bioluminescent lure. It attracts prey. A small fish is torn to pieces by its mouth. Anglerfish have strange reproduction. Females grow to 1.5 meters. Males are the size of a thumb. To mate, males attach to females. They slowly dissolve, fertilizing eggs. 160 meters is already 115 atmospheres. At this depth, live blobfish, their official name is Cyclus marsus, them from photos. The fish looks pitiful. This photo shows a fish pulled to the surface. Deep-sea fish resist pressure. They use trimethylamine oxide or TMAO. This substance bonds with water molecules. It allows skin and organs to withstand pressure. Blobfish live with pressures exceeding 100 atmospheres. Moonfish, they do not have an air bladder. Their soft bodies deflate at the surface. Here is their relative, a horned fish in its natural habitat. It's not pretty, but it's better than a blobfish. As you go deeper, transparency becomes more common. It is due to lack of light. This reduces melanin production. Melanin gives pigmentation to skin. Transparency is a useful adaptation. It helps avoid predators. An exception are red creatures. Red is the first color to leave the spectrum. Being red is being invisible. A good example is the large red jellyfish. They live at almost 1.5 kilometers. They can be over a meter in diameter. Because of their color, predators can't see them. At 1,600 meters, they're swim cronchids. Their bodies are almost transparent. The skin of these squids is covered with chromatophores. When closed, the squid become transparent. They emit light around their eyes to mask shadows. Descending to 1,700 malars, we encounter 6-gilled squid. They have a strict schedule. During the day, they fish in the bathypelagic zone. At night, they rise closer to the surface. They hunt at 90 meters. This is due to their love of cold temperatures. When the sun sets, they head for shallow waters. When it warms up, they return to the depths. They digest food and conserve energy. Their discipline is better than mine. At 1,800 malars, bright colors are still visible. This is Halotrephes masi, or firework jellyfish. It is because of its bioluminescence. Very little is known about it. It differs from ordinary jellyfish. It has never been seen at depths greater than 1/200 meter. It's a reminder that jellyfish become alien in the depths. 2,100 meters is the depth where hydrothermal vents are. These underwater cracks emit gases and heat. The temperature reaches 370 degrees. It is dangerous for many organisms, but some creatures, ichthyi crabs, are not afraid. They are covered with fluff. They live near hydrothermal fractures. They grow their own food. Bacteria that love warm water cling to their bodies. At 2,400 meters live Apistoprocs, they have an opaque body and a transparent head. The green eyes turn in all directions. They see through their own head. They search for food or predators. Their eyes and brains are protected by fluid. These strange fish are fragile. At 2.5 kilometers, chimeras or ghost sharks swim. They were discovered recently, in 2002. They have existed for over 360 million years. They are not sharks. Their teeth are not sharp. They are blunt plates for grinding. Below, at 2,700 malars, swim swallowers. Though small, they creep up. They swallow prey whole. They swallow creatures larger than themselves. The prey enters the second jaw. It serves as a cage for food storage. 2,900 malars is the habitat of hellish vampires. These squids have remained unchanged for 300 million years. At the tip of each tentacle is an organ. It emits blue light. They feed on ocean snow. This is dead organic tissue. It falls from the upper layers. Hellish squids feed on remains. They have never seen the creatures. At 3 kilometers, mammals reach their deepest point. Beaked whales usually swim just below 300 meters. They can descend to almost 3 km. They remain underwater for 22 minutes. This is thanks to anaerobic respiration. It's a way of expending energy without oxygen. 350 meters is the maximum depth for sperm whales. They hold their breath for 45 minutes. They reach speeds of up to 45 km/h. They weigh up to 88 tons. They rise from depths where 3 Empire State Buildings could fit. They rise to the surface in minutes. Their bodies are flexible. Ribs are connected by soft cartilage. The rib cage compresses under pressure. Our bones would break. The lungs compress. Sperm whales can hunt squid. Let's descend to 3,700 malars. I asked a question earlier. We have only reached the average depth of the ocean. It is equal to the length of the Hollywood Walk of Fame vertically. It's strange, we have only reached the average depth. We have not yet reached the trenches. At the lower limit of the bathypelagic zone, at 3,800 meters, is the Titanic wreckage. It has been untouched for 110 years. The liner weighed 52,310 tons. It was called unsinkable. On April 14, 1912, the Titanic hit an iceberg. It sank to this depth. Of the 2,400 passengers, only 706 survived. Few victims remained in the ship. Human buoyancy is higher than 52,000 tons of metal. We are about to dive deeper. Leaving the Titanic, we move further. At 4 kilometers, a new area begins. This is the abyssal zone. Imagine the Daytona Speedway laid out vertically. You will get an idea of the depth. In the abyssal zone, you would face over 400 atmospheres. There is terribly cold water. There is a complete absence of light. Despite harsh conditions, life finds its way. The creatures are not all monsters. The first inhabitants are cute. Somewhere 4,200 meters below, swim dam octopuses. They are named for the fins on their heads. They wave the fins when they swim. They flap their ears to fly. They do not have ink pouches. Most creatures use ink to hide. In the deep sea, ink is useless. At 4-5 kilometers, skate planes swim. They are strange. They are almost impossible to classify. Technically, they are sea cucumbers. They wave the ends of their bodies to move. Don't try to eat them. These are animals, not vegetables. They are fragile. Without pressure, they fall apart. At 4,900 meters, live stilt-legged bentosaurs. They have 3 long fins. They rest on the bottom. Bentosaurs are one of the few fish capable of standing. They are also tripedal. Their fins grow to 1 meter long. The fish is 30 centimeters long. The legs help conserve energy. There is almost no current at the bottom. A few centimeters above, the fish is in the perfect position. Shrimp fall right into its mouth. The stops are becoming less frequent. This shows how scarce life is. It shows how unusual its inhabitants are. The abyssal zone is not the last. The Hadal zone is named after Ada. Ada is the ruler of the underworld. It begins at 5,700 meters. It consists of depressions. The creatures are simple. For example, chitons are small mollusks. They live on rocks. At 7,100 meters are mushroom-shaped creatures. They look alien ships. Despite the similarity, they are not jellyfish. They are a unique species. They have not changed for 500 million years. This is because they live in darkness. 7,600 meters is the entrance to the Mariana Trench. It is the deepest abyss in the ocean. Don Volche Jacques Picard found themselves there. It was January 23rd of the 60s. They wanted to know the ocean's depth. They assembled a research team. They created a 15 m long and 3 m wide bathysphere. Both men crammed into the sphere. They descended through zones. They penetrated the abyss. In history, 12 people have been to the moon. Only 3 dared to descend to the deepest point. This is the Challenger Deep. At 8,150 m, Everest could fit inside. At 9,750 m, the porthole cracked. It was under the pressure of 969 atmospheres. They did not stop. After 4 hours and 47 minutes, they reached 10,920 meters. This is almost 11 kilometers. There was a pressure of 1806 atmospheres. The Trust sank to the bottom of the Challenger. This happened 30 years after the bathysphere invention. People did not return there for 52 years. I used buildings, highways, and mountains. They demonstrated the ocean's depth. With almost 11 kilometers, Nothing else compares. So how deep is the ocean? There is nothing deeper than it. Which deep-sea creatures impressed you most? Thank you for watching.